I welcome you all for my another lecture video. I am Shriram, working in Shriram Engineering College. Today my topic is on about remote sensing. You all know what is remote sensing, right? Remote sensing is we have to remotely sense an object without touching or without moving anything using a satellite or any drone. So, like example, like a photo, we can take the exact. We don't need to touch it. We just have to scatter light, and because of the refraction of the image, we can record it and we can keep it as an image. So, firstly, what is remote sensing? It is an effectively and most fashionably used worldwide. It is most fashionable thing to be used for geoprocessing for any kind of data to be processed. So word remote, that is, which is the thing or an object which is really far away or slightly far away can be. To sense it without touching it, we can get an input like temperature, pressure, photography, or any information about that remote object, and that is how remote sensing works. Generally, the remote sensing often we think it's only about satellite. No, any kind of like say MRI scan, X-rays, um, even we can get the pictures of mother's womb without touching the child. We can get how the child heartbeat is working. Everything we can sense, right? That is how remote sensing normally works. Even photograph, we can take the photograph of a thing or in a building. We can upload it, and anyone in this world can see. If you upload it to any kind of website, anyone who is seeing that photo without touching it, they will be able to see it. That's how the pressure, temperature, photography of any remotely present object or a thing can be sensed and it can be recorded. So, how to coin the word remote sensing? It can be coined in such a way that the process of measurement or acquisition of information of some property of some object or a phenomena by recording device that is not in physical contact with the object under study. So this word remote sensing was coined after Evelyn L. Pruitt and U.S. Office of Naval Research in 1950. And she also said that science and art of identifying, absorbing, and measuring an object without coming into direct contact with it. So, what are the process of? For example, yeah, I want you all to imagine like a person standing in a dark environment, and you have to record the person, or you have to take a picture of the person. Now you have a camera in your hand without any illumination, like no lights, and even the camera does not have any flashlights to take the photo. How will you ever be able to take a clear photo? You will not be able to take, right? That's how the primary source of remote sensing comes. Illumination. Illumination will be there to get or take information. So we will be seeing furtherly what are the types of illumination. So generally we have a primary source that is sunlight. And this is how humans see each other and they will perceive, they will absorb, they will reflect the energy of sun. And that's how they can take a picture using the satellite or any other drones or aerial photographs or aircraft, any sensors can be used. Apart from this, we have different kind of wavelength illuminations, likewise infrared, radar region, and also sometimes thermal infrared also we can be using. If you know what is thermal infrared, you can see in some visuals, you can see the gases will be in red color and the high temperature, pressure will be denoted in red, yellow, green colors. So this is all about the thermal infrared. So how does the sun energy enters into the earth? We will be seeing now. That is the sun energy transmitted through space, passing through all the atmospheric layer of the earth, falling on the earth's surface. But all this energy, does it actually be absorbed by earth? No. Some part of wavelength will not be entering into the earth's surface itself. So every object on the earth has its own intrinsonic properties. That is, it has own intrinsonic property. It says about the absorption and reflection of sunlight. After it attracts the energy, it radiates and reflects back to the Earth's surface. It would be detected by the sensors, aircraft, or satellite or drones, and can be taken the picture. So after the satellite or a sensor, an aircraft or a drone is recording the data, it will be transmitted and that can be downloaded in Earth station. That will be processed again and it will be corrected mathematically and then it will be sent to the correction. Those whoever want to take use that pictures can be that the pictures will be sent to them in a data form, digital data forms or in a printout. So who generally uses this type of photographs is geologist who wants to study about the rocks, structure of rocks. Agriculturists can also use for a farmland when you have a fungus on one side, when you're planning to do large production. Then I want to know about the fungus, which is which area it has been affected, and in that case, I can take a aerial photograph or a drone photograph to see how does this fungus is being affected the vegetation. Or when I want to build a town shipment. I want a aerial photograph of that area, particular area, and how far it is located from hospital, something like that. Then for urban development also, I can use this town plan. Next is the classification of remote sensing. So far, we have seen how does the remote sensing works and the term remote was coined by and what does it actually means. Now the classification, that is we have two type of um, sensors. How does what are the classification? What are the types the remote sensing is actually working? So first is active remote sensing. The sensor embodies within itself the source of illumination. That is, if you have a camera and it has an inbuilt flash, then that is active remote sensing. So, for example, radar, because when a satellite with a radar transponder, it sending out radar waves or radio waves, which bounce off from the Earth's surface. So this is how the radar actually works. So the passive sensor, that is these record passive sensor and active sensors. Passive sensor is sunlight. Using the available energy, the recording will be done. Active sensors is radar. It will send the radio waves and same way, the sunlight sends the energy. It is transmitted through the atmospheric layer. Then it reaches the Earth. All the interesting, um, all the things which is like will all the things are present in Earth will have some own intrinsonic properties, and that will reflect back the sunlight. Then that's how we are taking the photograph. Same way, the radar, it sends the radar waves or the radio waves on the Earth's surface and that will bounce back. Then how far the bouncing back, that is frequency or the wavelength it comes, uh, that's how the energy will be detected and the photos will be recorded. So these provide own energy to illuminate the target.